I'm just excited.
Hello, this is Rainy Dorian.
This is Broden.
Yep, he's my guest today. We are going to be doing a little discussion on Silent Hill. Now, I know for some of you this is going to be a little bit of a sensitive subject, but there are things that need to be said. We was just browsing around on YouTube, then something had crossed
the line.
Something had crossed our eyes, so this needs to be discussed.
I don't mind smiling.
Broden, first, let's start. Talk about your experiences with Silent Hill.
Well,
up to this point.
Well, I haven't really played the game at all, but knowing from your opinions about it, and for those. Should I say for those?
Just say whatever.
Yeah.
We're live. Remember.
I mean, for those of you who don't know what Silent Hill is, it's a game in which
basically it's a video game franchise that
it is
kind of, it's a psychological horror. Basically, you take out of it what you take. It's hard to put into words, but that's what makes it so incredibly unique and so amazing, is because what you take away from the games is basically your experiences with it.
Yeah, especially it's mainly a survival horror game. Like, you don't even really shoot anything.
But it's you do. It's on a psychological level. What was that just moved in around the corner, or what was that sound I just heard? It messes with your psyche. But I mean, the reputation of the Silent Hill games speak for itself. But what we're here to talk about is why Silent Hill is where it is right now.
Yeah.
It's basically in such a state where we don't know what the future of Silent Hill is, or if there's even a future.
Has it died, or will it live on if Konami can make up its mind?
Okay, so it all started. Where did it start? I said I brought it up to a minute ago.
Was it Silent Hills?
Actually, you know what? No, we'll skip the 80s. Okay. We'll start from after the release of Silent Hill 4. You know, abridge the story a little bit so they ain't sitting there bored. After the release of Silent Hill 4, Konami disbanded Team Silent. That was the team, the internal team that was building the original 4 Silent Hill games. After the disbandment, they shifted those members of that team around to do other stuff. But in doing so, they had to do something with the franchise. So what they did is they outsourced the game to other studios. Silent Hill Origins, Shattered Memories, Downpour.
Which is your favorite game?
It was all outsourced. But after those, and Book of Memories too. We can't forget Book of Memories. Anyways,
it doesn't really revolve around the story either.
Well, what I was getting at was those were mixed bags. So they're like, all's well that ends well.
Yeah.
So they needed something to reignite that spark. So what they were thinking was, we need to get someone on board that can handle something like this and bring back the love Silent Hill used to have. Then My guess is someone in Konami got the idea, hey, you know something? We've had the Metal Gear franchise on lock for quite some time now, for a few decades now. That franchise prints its own money. Why don't we try to get Kojima on board? My guess, a week later, they ring up Kojima and said, hey, are you interested in Silent Hill?
Hell yeah.
And in an interview, he said he doesn't really do horror, but that's why he took it, because my guess is he was thinking, if he can't do horror for the same reason horror exists, maybe it might give a better experience. That little spark it needs. So I'd say a year later, they released PT under the guise of 7780 Studios, if I'm saying that correct.
Yeah.
And then that was revealed later to be a demo for an upcoming Silent Hill title, which developed the name Silent Hills. Now, as a lot of you may know, they hired on filmmaker Guillermo del Toro.
And the guy.
Sorry if I mispronounced your name, by the way. And Walking Dead's Norman Reedus.
Yeah, that's the first thing I realized. Like when I think it was cut to the ending part, I'm like, hey, isn't that?
Well, yep. Keep going.
Like, I was just wondering, like, hey, it's that guy from Walking Dead.
Yeah. So then we don't know exactly what happened between that and after, but my guess is that there was tension between the company and Kojima himself, so they pulled the plug, and that caused a major shockwave throughout the entire franchise.
When they got rid of him.
I think he left.
Oh, yeah.
I think he's had enough. Now we're going to look back into the 80s for a minute here for context. Metal Gear 1, Metal Gear 2, those ones on the NES, he had nothing to do with those because they casted him out. This time wasn't the first time. This is the second time they did this to him.
And he's left and he's never come back. He's gone.
No, because my guess is he figured, why should I give you a second chance? This is the second time you did this to me. So my theory is that he said to himself, you know what? I'm going to go to a place that actually cares about me.
Sony.
So he went to refound Kojima, his studio, under the Sony umbrella, if I'm thinking correctly here. Chat, please correct me if I'm wrong. But he got sick of it. Now, Silent Hill is a psychological survival horror at heart. Book of Memories came out as an action hack and slash, exclusively for the PS Vita.
Which was doomed anyways.
I get what they were trying to do. They were trying, do something different. Like, I'm with them on that. But the fact was,
why do an action?
I'd say it was right around Book of Memories. That's when they started not caring.
Money.
That it boiled down to money.
No fans. That is sad.
See, the issue. I don't think the issue is whether or not Silent Hill has a future or not. I think the problem is Konami itself. I don't know what their views are now. I only know what I heard. But the problem is that they're not doing it for the fans anymore.
A jump scare game? What
I played Silent Hill and what? She I think I know what she's trying to say. Yeah.
Hi, Rainy.
Oh, hi. So yeah, it had jump scares, but it's meant to be more of a psychological thing. Like I said at the beginning, what was that I saw moving at the corner of my eye around the corner? What was that sound I just heard? The future of Silent Hill falls in the hands of people that don't care. Unless their thoughts changed, that's still the truth. That's gonna pose a big problem, because if they do release another game, it is gonna be so very watered down that people are gonna start getting pissy, and then they're gonna start saying things that they're not gonna want them to say. But the fact is, they brought it on themselves because they released something in a very careless and reckless way. Now, if you're detecting that I'm a little mad, yes, I am.
And I'm pissed off too.
The fact is, we shouldn't leave one of the most successful franchises in horror to people who don't care about the people they are catering to. My thought is, I don't know what all the legality behind it, but my thought is that because Kojima was hired on to do Silent Hills along with Del Toro and Reedus, Silent Hill belongs to Hideo Kojima. Now, the legalities may say something different, but as far as I'm concerned, they hired him. It's his game. It belongs to him. My thoughts now, if your thoughts are different, please feel free to chime in after. But Kojima, despite all the animosity, should go to Konami and buy it. Because what good is Silent Hill going to be if they do another release?
And screw it all up.
Well, no. If it's coming from people who couldn't care less about the people buying their games. At least Kojima has heart enough to care about the gamers that are buying his stuff. Death Stranding, I am looking so forward to that. What's your thoughts?
On what?
On Death Stranding, have you seen anything of it? He still kept the people that was intended to be on Silent Hills, and like it made so many people mad. It pissed off Del Toro. He said he's not doing another fucking game again unless Kojima specifically tells him to. Because, quote, I'll do whatever the fuck he wants me. Those were his words. And I don't blame Del Toro. Kojima is a genius. The thing, let this sink in. They casted out for the second time in their existence one of the smartest and most creative developers that they had. They lost one of the brightest minds they had.
Yeah.
How stupid does that really make them? What to you does that mean for the future of Silent Hill and games as a whole?
And they go downhill, especially the people that will be playing them. They'll be playing them be like, what the fuck is this shit?
Yes, that's very much right. I think we can't, for now, our best hope is that they outsource all the rights to a different studio. In Metal Gear Survive, Kojima himself said, well, via translation to his translator, that he had nothing to do with that. I mean, looking at the gameplay, does that look like something Kojima even touched? They turned it into a freaking Gears of War ripoff.
Why?
It's Konami. Would you expect any less? They are butchering so much of their IPs. Like, I don't know. I mean, they got their sports titles. You can't screw those up unless they're so badly glitched. You cannot screw those up. Those are gift wrapped. But other than that, I mean, they got their classics. Yes, they do. But anything modern, forget about it. Unless they get their head straight, I'm not touching anything Konami post 2012. I'm not touching anything of theirs. Now, I know this is reflective of anything and everything that I would imagine former fans of Konami are saying. Those who boycotted them for this very reason.
Like, but I mean, why? I mean, you don't. I mean, if you don't really care about your fans, at least make a good game.
Exactly, but I don't think that do you want them to succeed? They don't care.
I mean, if you don't care about your fans, you might as well disband.
Really, outsource all your properties to people who care.
Yeah.
Let's see if the chat has any questions.
I mean, and I've even thought about some games. I mean, I don't know how good they'll do.
They'd be incredibly watered down. Really, they would.
Why?
That's the way I see Konami. They are going to make money despite themselves. That's the thing that irks me the most. If they cared about their fans, that'd be the exact reason to love them, because they care and they're making so much money. But the fact they don't care is that they're just doing things to make money despite all the ego involved.
Right.
So that's the one thing that irks me the most. Let's get to some questions. Hey, Chad, you got any questions? Any at all?
Yeah.
Feel free to chime in if there's a point that I missed or a point you want talked about.
Any suggestions or anything?
I'm not seeing anything. Silent Hill Origins. Let's cover that for a minute. That felt most like something that would have come from Team Silent. Now, was it up to par? Not quite. Very, very close. It almost captured the magic, but you can kind of tell it wasn't in the same creative hands. But it was very passable because it told the story in such a way that it was acceptable. But then everything started losing its quality. Let's not even talk about the homecoming freezing glitches and all that. The PC got it the worst, but we've played it on PS3.
Yeah, I've seen
When
it.
the dog jumped, I mean, we only had that freeze for a few seconds. We could adjust to that. But from what I heard someone say, the PC version had it horrible. Sometimes the game would freeze for upwards of 30 full seconds. Yeah, 30 full seconds. That's half a minute. How do you adjust to something like that? Now, in Konami's defense, though, I'm probably going to get butchered in the chat or the comments once this is archived for saying this, but in their defense, they've always had a problem with PC ports. It's hard to port something like that was first made for the PS2 and the PlayStation line of consoles. Because it's like you have to build the game around various different PC builds. So how do you do that? There's so many different combinations. Hold on. I don't follow many companies. Maybe they decide to not release it. I think, good point. I think that would be for the best. I think the fact is much as it hurts me inside, I think with the standing of Konami currently, that the best thing they could do is what they did. Don't touch it as a game. Release it as a pachinko machine exclusively in Japan and leave it alone. I think that's the best thing they could do right now because they pissed off so many people.
Yeah, and they could probably get bankrupt.
Well, no, they have so much money. They did Frogger. They did the arcade port of Frogger. So, yeah. So they're fine. Their bank account is all set.
Well, I didn't mean bankrupt, but I just meant
lose money. Lose money?
No, I mean like fail, like just go down.
Well, they have money enough to keep themselves open, but I think I get to what you're saying. What else? I can, like, HD collection. I heard about the problems they underwent. Hold on. How did you find that they are starting to suck for a company? Well, I noticed when they got rid of Kojima. That's when I started noticing things were off. But then I dug a little deeper because there had to have been some reason they let their most creative mind go. Now, I don't know if they let him go or he just gave them the kiss off, but I started noticing when they let him go. So I dug a little deeper and I found out there was a lot of tension for a long time between the two of them. And that was just the straw that broke the camel's back. He had enough. Because like I said earlier, the Metal Gear games from the 80s, he had nothing to do with those. This was the second time they did this. And then they started not caring. The Metal Gear franchise, they released Metal Gear Survive despite his release. It was under the Konami umbrella, so legally there was nothing he could do. They turned it into a Gears of War ripoff. Then they started doing all these... I don't know. There was so much they did wrong. So much. And they made it clear they don't care about their fans. They're going to make the games despite what anyone thinks. And again, that's the one thing that enrages me the most, is they're going to make money despite themselves. Anything else from the chat?
What about Homecoming? Should we talk about that one?
Yeah, we covered that one a little bit. Like, I love... Okay, devil's advocate here. I do love how they expanded the town more. That's what they needed to do. They needed to keep making the town bigger for a more varied and more unique experience with each and every game. Now, if they would have kept expanding it game by game by game, that would have been oversaturation. But they were doing it at just the right pace.
And also, let's talk about Pyramid Head.
And home. Good. The game would have went just fine without Pyramid Head in Homecoming. It would have been perfectly fine. He only had about a minute of screen time total, and he did nothing. Nothing. He's supposed to be reflective of the protagonist's inner demons, and they just put him in despite just for shits and giggles. But you got to remember, they outsourced this, so they couldn't have had the same exact mindset that Konami did when they started. But it just made no sense to me. What were you gonna say?
Yeah, but I think why they might have added Pyramid Head, it might not be for the story. It's just how iconic he is to this franchise.
If it would have been a movie, I would have been fine with it. Silent Hill 2, the movie, I was perfectly fine with his presence. The first one, I was fine with his presence. It's because that showed that I forgot who did it. I think it was Davis Films. They were willing to spread their wings with the rights. They wanted to put the most iconic character in there just for that reason, because they could. Now, there's so many ways you could do that wrong, but they did it right. That's the one thing I was worried about when hearing about the Silent Hill films before I saw them. I was scared they were going to royally fuck that up. But no, you saw it. They did a really good job with Pyramid Head. They handled it with such finesse, such care. Now, would the movies have been fine without him? Yeah, it would have sucked to lack his presence, but yeah, it would have been fine. But that was just like putting a cherry on top of a gorgeous sundae. Is there anything else you want to cover? I'm not seeing anything from the chat.
Okay. How about Downpour? How that went downhill?
Oh boy. I guess there's no avoiding that forever, was there?
No, I was gonna.
Okay. So I'm gonna get butchered in probably the chat in the comments from the purists. But the thing is, I love that game. Despite its problems, I absolutely love that game. I love how unique it was.
And it's probably the story you love, and not the game.
No, I love everything about it. I mean, yeah, it had its problems, but you saw how they handled the darkness. Who else would have thought of that? Handle the darkness as if it was a black hole. I mean, you want to run away from the darkness. You're going to get yourself sushi'd. Hey, I won't bark. Jeez. Thank you. Say, chat, what do you think of Downpour? I mean, I know that was one of the worst reviewed games of the franchise, but what do you think? We'll give them a minute. If you'll excuse me, I'll be right back. I just have to use the facilities real quick.
Yeah.
Okay, you got this all right?
Yeah, I just don't. Okay, no problem. I don't know about it. Okay, what do I talk about? Like, do you have any ideas about what we should talk about next, or should we go on with how Downpour did in its time? Anything is fine. Okay. Well, I just don't know much of the franchise. Like any of the. Maybe we should look at the. I'll just wait till Rainy gets back. I mean, I'm not a critic myself. I just try to enjoy stuff. Okay, he said, no problem, don't know about it. And also, I talked about like what topic we should do. Anything is fine.
Hold on. What do you think Rockstar Gaming on GTA 6 will do? I was hoping we'd cover this just as a very, very brief side note because today the stream's about Silent Hill. But honestly, the best thing they could do is do an HD version of Vice City. Because, I mean, obviously GTA 5 was San Andreas. So the best thing they could do is either Las Venturas, the casino region, which was the casino region of San Andreas, or Vice City. My money is going towards Vice City.
Like, why would the fifth game be San Andreas?
That was the first idea they had for the HD universe. There's so many different ways they could go with it. They could even do London again from that expansion from the first one. But odds are probably not. That was a one-off for GTA. I think we basically covered everything. I mean, the merchandising potential behind Silent Hills. Oh man, they really shot themselves in the foot. We discussed this just before we started the stream too.
Do you know hints in the game? What?
There's hints in the game. As to what? They could have done, as for the other thing we were just talking about before we started the stream, there's so much things they could have done with Silent Hill. They could have done limited edition bundles for the PS4s. They could have done exclusive content. GTA 5 shows. Yeah, I did see that. It was. I only saw one still from a video I saw here on YouTube. I couldn't quite make out everything, but I mean, my thought is that they do Vice City. I mean, it doesn't even need Vercetti. To me, it just needs Vice City. I've heard so many people say it needs to be Vice City. The Grand Theft Auto franchise has some of the smartest fans in the world, too. Because it's like, you do San Andreas, so to not do Vice City, that's just a travesty. I mean, like, I'm sure they'd even be content, like I said, with just Las Venturas. But it's like, that would be beating a dead horse to me. I mean, would it work? They'll get over it, but I'm sure it'll be fine. What else? There's so much surrounding the storm that is the future of Silent Hill that we're not going to be able to cover it all in just this one stream, because I'm sure everyone here doesn't have all day to talk. Neither do we. But it's like I said, it all comes down to what happened. That's why nothing's happening. It's because of all the crap that's happened. Hold on. You go to Mike and Amanda's house and look at the flight tickets, and you will find a hint there, and you go to Escape Park, I think. Okay, Mike and Amanda's house. Mike and Amanda's house. I'm trying to think. Where was the tickets? Wasn't I think that was upstairs, wasn't it? I'm pretty sure it was.
I don't know. I haven't played it in a long time.
Near the stairs. That's where it was. Yes. I knew it had something to do with the stairs. We'd probably need one of the rifles and zoom in on it. It's right next to that. I think it was the plant, right? Yeah. Deer and plant. Yeah, that's what I thought. So, well, we have the game on downloaded. We could go check it out after we end the stream. We don't have much more time left. This is just stuff we needed to talk about, because there was things that haven't been said that needed to be said. And I think, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong here, maybe this is just me unintentionally being a narcissist, but I think it's better that we said it than anyone else said it. Because if anyone else said it, in my eyes, it wouldn't have went over nearly as well as it did here.
Why?
Because there's a lot of people that are way more enraged than I am about it. They would have went on for 2 straight hours just hardcore ripping on Konami. On the left when you walk in the front door. Thank you. Okay, so did we cover everything that needed to be covered?
Well, I don't know about the protagonist in Silent Hill.
Which one? There's like, I think 9 games. Oh, Shattered Memories. What's your chat? What's your opinion on Shattered Memories before we go? because I do want to cover that real quick, because a lot of people I talk to don't like it. I think it's because they're not seeing it from the right eyes, just pushing their personal opinion aside. I think that it kept getting viewed the wrong way. Are you having fun over there?
Be like Haley doing that.
I need to keep it down.
Oh.
Because you're disturbing my yes.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
We'll have to ask you later.
Okay. Okay. Oh, come in closer. Okay, so it's just a creative reinterpretation of the first game. I like it. I mean, I think it's supposed to be viewed as a reinterpretive spin-off, and I think that's where the charm would be found if you can view it through that.
Also, after we do discuss this, should we also discuss about your idea of a Silent Hill game?
Oh, it's going to be a fan-made film. I mean, if they actually see it and decide to do something with it, I'll discuss it with them when that time comes. But okay, I think that basically covers everything that needed to be covered. Thank you, chat, so much for joining us. I know this was haphazardly done and not even planned, but again, it was just things that needed to be said before we can move on from all the travesty, all the crap that happened. I know it was years ago, but something needed to be said.
And done.
Yes. All right. So thank you guys for joining us. Thank you, Broden, for joining me in this stream today. And I guess that's it. Please be sure to like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Comment and share to spread the word. I do have a Patreon. Patreon.com/.
I need you to put it down, okay? Because my jam's going to make you leave.
Okay.
Thank you. You might want to put headphones on or something, okay? Because not everybody wants to.
Okay, so anyways, like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I guess we'll see you later. Bye, guys.
I want to be